Hey everyone, we're TowawayCouple. I'm Tom, the driver.
And I'm Bunny, and I really know nothing.
You know nothing.
I know nothing, but I researched everything.
But I don't know it. I don't know. Well, I've been pulling for 34 years, but I'm still not a know-it-all. But I have a lot of opinions.
Yes, you do.
I'm very opinionated.
Yes,
Doesn't mean they're factual. Do your own research. Anything we say, do your research.
Right. Like I said,
we're just a guide.
And I do. When I'm not driving, we'll be driving through something, and I'm like, oh, look at that. Let me Google it. Let me research that. Just so I want to know what things are about.
All I know is we're broke because we're still wearing the same clothes as the last video.
We are broke because we haven't been driving.
That's true. We just got back from Jamaica, man.
Jamaica.
So we're pumping out a bunch of videos.
Yes.
So this video here is hopefully to help people with an understanding that you don't have to overthink this.
Right. Tom is a go big or go home type of person.
Yes.
So when we came into this, we're like, oh, we're going to start with all this stuff. Now, most of it we had.
Yeah.
So we were okay with that, having our own RV. But you know what? You can start with just the very, very basics.
Okay, so with that said, we saw a debate going on Facebook of fifth wheel hitches being required. Mm-hmm. And somebody says that they have to be required because on the websites they say required equipment. So we run for Indiana Transport, and we've seen a lot of trucks with camper shells on them. So obviously they're making beds in the back, which is pretty smart.
Obviously they don't have a fifth wheel hitch.
They don't have a fifth wheel. And don't mistake, if you see someone with the tonneau cover roll up or whatever, doesn't mean they don't have a fifth wheel. Someone actually thought I didn't have a fifth wheel, and we do that because we want to hide our stuff.
Right. Because
we don't want to be the easy target.
We don't want to put out there what we have in the back of the truck.
So, to go on topic is, we asked Indiana Transport straight up, can you lease on a van, like a 3/4 ton or 1 ton van? The absolute answer was no. So we see that question.
Right. It has to be a 3/4 or 1 ton truck.
The secondly is, will they lease on, now this is Indiana, mm-hmm. Will they lease on gas trucks? Depends. Depends on if they need drivers at the time. They're not opposed to gas. They prefer diesel. So if there's 50 applicants and 49 are diesel and 1's gas, they're going to go with the diesel first. But if they need 50 drivers, that gasser will definitely be an option on their list. So if you're one of the people out there with the gas truck, call all the companies, because at the time, one may not need them, but they might hire it later on.
Right. And even the fact is just because one company says no, there might be a host of others that are going to say yes.
Yes, because it depends on their needs at that time.
Absolutely.
So going on to the fifth wheel. So where we started from is fifth wheel hitches required. So someone said, it says required equipment, so it has to be, rock solid has to be required. And I thought, no, I've seen plenty of vehicles with camper shells, no fifth wheel, stuff like that. Some people don't even want to pull a fifth wheel. They're afraid of them. Mm-hmm. So, and they've never pulled one in their life. They pulled bumper pulls, but never a fifth wheel. So we asked Indiana, is fifth wheel required? They said for the CDL drivers, pretty much it's a requirement because most of their heavy loads are going to be fifth wheel. Yep. They would like them 99% to have a fifth wheel, but what they mean by that is they might hire a CDL driver that doesn't have a fifth wheel with the agreement that they get a fifth wheel installed as soon as possible.
Right. Because those big Sun Countries or the Momentums.
The bumper pulls can be pretty heavy.
Yeah.
So with that said, even with the CDL, they might make an agreement saying, okay, you got to have so much time to get it.
Right.
Non-CDL drivers such as us, not required. Does it give you more options? Absolutely. But a fifth wheel hitch being $800 to $2,500, depending on how cheap you want to go or how elaborate you want to go. Our current fifth wheel hitch is a BMW Companion in our new truck. It was $1,500 with the lube plate already mounted on it.
Right, and like you said, there's different options too, because now that we have a dually, it's a heavier truck. We do have a fifth wheel hitch, but we pull less fifth wheels because we're overweight.
We're overweight because we're not CDL. We can only pull a 12,000 pound GVWR trailer, and there's only a few fifth wheels that fall within that. But if we get into our yard and a fifth wheel's blocking our bumper pull, we have the capability of, it doesn't matter what the weight is, we could hook on and pull that trailer and hook onto our bumper pull and be on our way instead of waiting for someone. Correct. So that's another thing, having the right tools for the job. Some super truckers out there would be like, if you don't have a fifth wheel hitch, you figure out how to move it yourself and they won't help. But for the majority, 99% of the people in RV transport, if you don't have a fifth wheel hitch and a fifth wheel's blocking your trailer, they'll hook on and pull. They'll consider it karma, kick them $10 or $20 for their time because you save $1,500 not having a fifth wheel.
Or how many hours are you going to sit there waiting for somebody to come help
Right.
you?
Or if they move a fifth wheel out of your way and there's a bumper pull in their way, offer to move their bumper pull to even up the karma points. So what do you absolutely need to get into RV transport? Aside from any leases or anything like that, because we don't know anything about leasing a truck, we just couldn't wrap our heads around the math, and I don't know how people could really sustain doing this with that amount of overhead. So I would really do the math on that. I'd almost say you can almost go out and buy a new truck, and 2 hauls a month is going to pay your truck and insurance, not all your gas, but it still give you some profit. Mm-hmm. So
you do have to have a 3/4 ton or larger truck.
Correct.
You cannot do it with a 1/2 ton.
Nope. No one's going to lease you on. You can go up in weights, but remember, if you're non-CDL, that lowers your options.
Right. Currently, right now, a lot of the companies will take older trucks, but the company like Indiana Transport right now, it has to be a 2012 or newer.
Right.
So the age of the vehicle can also be a factor.
Now, each company has different requirements, but Indiana requires you to have full width mud flaps, and they have to be like one set has to be 5 inches off the ground, the other one has to be 6 inches. I'm not sure if it's the rock guard or the mud flaps, but they require you to have a full length rock guard as well, and they want it certified by Dan's Hitch, Dually Depot, or Elkhart Hitch. Those are the 3 people that can say you meet their requirements.
Right.
With that, it'll save you a whole bunch of money, and you'll be able to get leased on. Mm-hmm. You will need a weight distribution hitch capable, I believe it's 10,000 pounds. So you'll need that, but you don't need anything elaborate. We have a Gen Y hitch with the weight distribution hitch. You don't have to have the Gen Y hitch. We love our Gen Y hitch, but again, that's just a creature comfort,
a personal preference.
Yeah, that's like gravy on the fries. Let's see here.
You're definitely going to have triangles.
You'll have to have a triangle.
Fire extinguisher.
Yep, and a battery for the trailer. Most of your trailers, 99% of them, do not come with the battery.
Nope.
Some do, but very, very rarely.
You're going to have a DOT inspection on your truck.
Yep, and on the battery, people ask, they got some that hang off the side of the trailer. Personally, they're almost just as expensive as the M24 series Deep Cycle. Get the M24 Deep Cycle series battery, full-size battery with the box. You'll be much more happier because sometimes you can't even hang that battery with all the stuff on the side, especially with weight distribution bars.
Right. We've run into that issue where there's just not been enough room.
Right. Or they have a tray.
Yeah.
And where are you going to put that battery? You'll need a couple of straps to strap down your battery.
Mm-hmm.
And we strap down our propane tank cover just because we just want to be extra cautious.
Yep.
You're going to definitely need to have D-links put on your bumper because you cannot hook the breakaway cable up to your hitch or your chains. I was lucky. I had the D-link on my left side, and like 3 trailers, the breakaway was on the right side, so I couldn't reach the D-link, so I was attaching it to my receiver. Could I gotten a citation? Could I got a violation? Absolutely. But I just obviously wanted to hook and book, and nothing I could do about it. So I took my truck in and got the D-link on the right side, and now I'm capable of hooking up the breakaway on both sides with no problems. And I got pulled in for a level 1 inspection, and thank God I had that breakaway on the on the D-link instead of the hitch.
You got pulled in for his inspection the day after he had that installed.
Right. So if you're going to have the D-links installed, do it on both, because some trailers come with the breakaway on the left, some come with it on the right. You can do bungee cords or zip ties. We had zip ties for the license plate, and we also zip tie all of our excess strap. So when we ratchet strap our battery down, we zip tie that as well as the propane tank cover. Mm-hmm. We got the bungee cords, and we were doing the little loop around bungee cords. You'll see a lot of transporters have them. We were running those, and somebody said that he got pulled over for the simple fact that the bungee cord was covering part of the license plate lettering, and the officer could not read it, so he pulled him over. It gave him a reason to pull him over. So when he told us that, he didn't get a violation, but it gave a reason to get pulled over. So when he told us that story, we went back to zip ties for the license plates just to avoid any... Now, we want to be invisible.
Right. Also, too, on the zip ties, you also got to go weather permitting, because when it gets super, super cold outside and below freezing, those zip ties can snap.
Yep.
So when it gets that cold, I double them up.
Yep.
The other very important thing you're going to need, and it's a must, is going to be a torque wrench, because you're going to have to torque your wheels on your trailer before you take that out.
Correct. So you just go to Harbor Freight, get the $20 half-inch drive torque wrench, get a 3 or 4-inch half-inch extension, and what I would suggest is just get that little box of sockets, or the flippable socket. The trailers are typically 2 sizes. I don't have it off the top of my head, but I think it's 11/16 and 3/4 off the top of my head. But we actually have other sockets, so if we did have one trailer that was bigger, torque your wheels. I know this goes off subject, but very important. Not only do you want to torque your wheels because you can't trust the factory, make sure your spare is also tight.
Yes, because we've had issues. Found one on the back bumper that was very, very loose. It was only on by fingertips, and it would have fallen off. And we never really get up to the one underneath, but that one had also fallen down.
And I had to fix that along the route.
Yeah, so those are also very important.
Yeah. So basically, do you have to have a rock guard? Some companies don't require them. So if they don't require them, I probably wouldn't do it, especially if they protect you from driver damage. If they don't protect you from driver damage, may or may not want it. But the rock guard does cost you some miles per gallon.
Yes, it
because
does.
It's a big wind resistant underneath your truck. And also when you're going through rain, it just blows water everywhere. You definitely have to have mud flaps. I don't know of any company that doesn't require mud flaps. You got to have a battery. You got to have a battery cover, because you can't just have an exposed battery. I've seen people with the battery in the plastic base but not the top, and I even think that's a violation, but I might be wrong. That's just an opinion. Verify that, but I think exposed battery connections might be a violation.
Yeah, but the battery box is a whopping $10.
$7 at Walmart.
Yeah.
So even cheaper. And then the weight distribution hitch. On the weight distribution hitch, I would recommend the one with the chains and the hanging shackles where you just use a pipe and pop them up. And a lot of the stuff you can buy on Facebook Marketplace, including the fifth wheel hitches.
Yes, yes. Now, unfortunately, at this time of the day, we are in late March of 2022. Fuel prices are through the roof. And so you do have a lot of guys that are, and gals that are getting out of the industry. So there's so much for sale right now.
Bunny literally just saw a $1,500 fifth wheel hitch, a $1,200 fuel tank, and a $400 weight distribution setup, and the guy wanted $600 for all of it.
Yeah.
I would have bought it just to have it.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I don't need it, but the one thing of all things you're going to want to buy, if you don't buy the fifth wheel hitch, the first gravy thing you should buy is an auxiliary fuel tank. Because that's where you're going to make your money, and then do the fifth wheel hitch. And that only gives you options. There's a lot of options out there. And the more equipment you have, the more options you have.
Yes, that is correct.
So that's pretty much it. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, it is. Definitely, we enjoy it. We have a great time doing it. And it's just all about now just holding your finances a little bit tight and starting off with the least amount of equipment that you possibly can right now just to get yourself on the road.
And with fuel prices, our videos, we show our sleeper berth, we show our Gen Y hitch, we show that we rhino lined everything. Don't use our videos as your guide to buy. We just happen to be able to get it all at the time. But somebody brand new starting out, go make your money, and you can do all the gravy as time goes on. You'll find that it's a lot easier. And if you decide you don't want to do this, you don't have such a big investment.
Exactly.
We pull trailers personally. We have a fifth wheel. We have bumper pulls. So all the equipment we have, we would use anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The only thing that we have that extra is the extra truck.
Yeah, we don't need two trucks.
But actually we do.
We actually do. So, all right. If you have any questions, feel free to send us an email. We do answer most of our emails. Mm-hmm. And I say most because we do get some, and there's no stupid question, but if somebody is not even going to be looking at this industry for 5 years, we probably won't respond to it because 5 years may be a whole different animal. But someone who's looking right now to get into it, those are the priority people that we reply to.
Correct.
And the creepy dudes, we don't reply to those.
No. And also, too, if you have questions and if we can't answer it, we do have a Facebook page, RV Transport for New People.
It's a group, Facebook group,
and definitely you can ask questions in there.
Absolutely. And make sure you check out our website, TowawayCouple.com. We list a lot of stuff that we personally use. Again, a lot of it's gravy stuff. And some stuff you might be able to find cheaper elsewhere. Some things you can get used and get on Facebook Marketplace. But you can look at all the stuff that we have. And if you want to get something, either buy it from the link if it's cheaper or find it on your own. Mm-hmm. But it's a great source to see what all that we use.
Right. Absolutely.
Other than that,
we'll see you down the road.